We've got some really cool updates here around Metera. Metera's doing indexes on Cardano, and Daniel's joining me on the episode to talk through some of the updates, where they're at, and go into their ISPO as well. Everyone knows that who watches my channel knows that I love ISPOs. Great way of getting those tokens out there to the community and really engage with the audience. But Daniel, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Pete. It's been a while, so I'm excited to be back.
Let's have a real quick overview of Metera so people that have never heard of you guys before get an understanding of what you're actually trying to achieve.
Yes, of course, Pete. Metera Protocol is an index token platform for the Cardano ecosystem. We're basically doing tokenized indexes. We want people to be able to create their own indexes and also invest in other indexes. What we basically do is that we bunch up a bunch of different tokens and we display them in a single share. We have been working on the Cardano ecosystem for over 2 years now, and we are really excited to be launching our ISPO and our testnet coming soon as well.
That's really cool. And we'll get into the ISPO and those details in a second. But in terms of development, where are you at the moment? I remember last time we spoke, we had a look at some visual designs that you guys had up and running, and you were working through some of the smart contracts and stuff. Where are you now with the development of everything?
We are almost close to releasing a private testnet. We initially intended to release the testnet a month ago, but unfortunately we had some issues through development. But I think we now have a really solid product. We're also starting to develop around Aiken and transitioning from Plutarch and a lot of different Haskell-based tools into Aiken. So we'll be releasing a testnet, a private testnet coming soon. And we expect to be on mainnet maybe on March of next year.
And interesting that you decided to change the code base now from Plutarch to Aiken. I think the majority of the Cardano community are moving to Aiken at the moment as their smart contract programming language. What was the decision behind that? Why did you pull the trigger to switch to Aiken?
It was not an easy decision to make, but we started developing Metera around in May of 2022. I guess. And when we started developing, of course, with Plutarch, there wasn't a lot of tools that there is available right now. So there were some design problems surrounding Plutarch that going back and changing them once we saw the user experience was just too hard. And we decided to pull the plug and start developing on Aiken again.
That must have been a hard decision, but like if it future-proofs your work and just makes life easier down the track, it just makes sense. So good luck with that.
It was a hard decision, but to be honest, we are really excited because we are really close on having something ready to be released. Also, it's way easier getting TypeScript developers to maintain our Aiken code. Also, we have team members within the team that can maintain that source code. Besides on Haskell, it was a lot more difficult for us to get a hold of the code.
Yeah, wow, that's a huge difference. So it's really good to hear that the development experience is better, and that's overall better for your project and team as well. So now you do have this ISPO, initial stake pool offering going on at the moment. I have mentioned it in previous news updates, and a lot of people may know about it already. But can we get an idea and details about this ISPO and how you are making this one work? Because it's a little bit different compared to other ones that do it purely for fundraising.
Yes, well, we are trying to do a mix of different ISPOs. We have been working on the methodology of the ISPO for some while now, working besides Maestro and some other community members. I'll shout out the one Oracle. He has been really great for the ISPO. We are launching the ISPO on Monday. This ISPO will last for 42 epochs. It starts on epoch 451 and it ends on the epoch 493. We will be distributing 9% of our whole supply through the ISPO, which is a huge chunk of our Metera tokens. And some part of that we're distributing directly with what we're fundraising in the ISPO. Around 40% of the whole supply we're distributing through bonuses. So we're trying to reward people that stake a long period with us on the ISPO main pool. And also we're trying to reward our NFT holders and ADA size based tiers. Around 10% of the whole ISPO will go to partner pools. So we have the team has selected 7 SSPOs, and we made a governance action with clarity to select 8 other pools. So in total, 15 pools will distribute around 10% of our tokens. On our side, this is an idea for us to be able to distribute Metera to as many wallets as possible by participating with other SSPOs. And I think this is a great tool for those pools to attract some extra delegation. You know, being a pool operator is not easy in the current market as well.
No, it is not easy at all. Being a pool operator myself, I know how hard it is to attract delegation. And some of these projects that I've partnered up with are finishing up their ISPOs at the moment, and I can see the delegation leaving. So it's so hard sometimes. Yeah, I know. So I know these people. And because I keep on talking about ISPOs, people get excited. Oh, a new one. And they go over there and they leave. So it's a tough market. Now, I've got a couple of questions from this. So the first one is, yes. So it sounds like you're doing an ISPO, a mix of ISPOs. So you have your own pool as well. Is that correct? And then the partner pools and community pools?
Yes, so we have our own pool, which acts as your regular ISPO pool with 99% margin. The pool ticker is METERA, is Metera without an E. We couldn't get 6 to the ticker. It's only 5.
Yeah.
Is a bummer, but yeah, that's our main pool. If you stake with us in the main pool, you'll be eligible for those bonuses that we can go more into depth if you want in a little bit. But on the other side, with the SSPOs, if you stake with them, you'll get your regular ADA rewards and you can get extra Metera on top of that.
There are a lot of partner pools and community pools that you've teamed up with. There's a lot of common names, well-known names there from the Cardano community that I recognize. So really good selection of pools. So if anyone wants to continue with the decentralization of delegation on the Cardano blockchain, they can choose one of those partner pools, but then still earn some of those Metera tokens. So that's absolutely brilliant and a really good way of going about it.
We selected 7 SSPOs on our own. This comes from a list of different projects in Latin America and also some early supporters of Metera. And we've also been working a lot with sustainability pools in the Cardano ecosystem. And CNC ALA has 2 pools featured in our ISPO. And we think that's a really important mission as well.
With the time and length of the ISPO, you mentioned it was going on for 43 epochs. What is the actual end date of that? Because I know a lot of people can't really count in epochs. So do you know the end date so people can convert that in their minds?
Yes, so it'll last 7 months approximately. The end date is on June 24th of 2024. What we don't distribute on the ISPO, so if there's any Metera left on the ISPO, as there usually is, we're going to use all of that for our liquidity event. So previously, we weren't thinking about doing a big liquidity event, but recent news and recent partnership have pushed us to try and get a liquidity event. And any tokens that are not delivered in the ISPO will go towards that event.
This does lead me to my next question around when do we get the token? So it sounds like after the ISPO, you do some sort of liquidity bootstrapping event. With these tokens on the ISPO, is there a vesting schedule in regards to when we get them? And so what are the details around that?
Yes, so the first scope is to us get the token out after the ISPO. We are also looking at the effects that it might have against the price if we do an early release before the ISPO ends. So we're still figuring out, we're listening to the community feedback and what we want to create together. But once the token is out, if that is when the ISPO is running or after the ISPO is over, it'll have a 6-month vesting schedule. So we'll be sending out tokens to the stake IDs, and that way people can collect their tokens.
It's always so hard to organize how those vesting schedules work, when to release tokens, so it doesn't have a damaging effect on everyone's received tokens. And you want to try and keep a stable market as much as possible. So very hard process. Yes. I'm sure you get a lot of community feedback on different ideas on how to do that properly and do it well.
Yes, we're working on it, and I think a high liquidity event will make sure that the price is stable, even when the vesting schedules come through as well.
Now, my very last question here is around the Metera NFTs and how that comes into place, because I did get one. You can see it on the wall back there. So I'm interested to find out the details behind that. And I'm sure other people may have purchased them not knowing all the details on what they can actually earn from owning one of those NFTs.
Yes, so we have 3 different collections. The Metera Whites are the last of our collections and the last one that we'll ever mint. Each NFT gives you 6,450 Metera tokens, following that same vesting schedule that we just discussed. Those you get a discount over the public price and the ISPO price that we're using to distribute Metera if you buy one of those NFTs. We have 300 left out of 1,500, which was the last collection that we released. And in order to engage with the NFT holders and to incentivize our ISPO, we're also giving boosts for people that participate in our ISPO and also hold NFTs. So what we're doing is that in partnership with Wi-Fi, we're going to be creating ISPO vaults, which are basically a mechanism for us to lock the NFTs out of circulation through the ISPO, and for us to identify those wallets that hold the NFT and are staking the NFT in Wi-Fi and are staking in our ISPO pool. So if a user stakes with us and stakes the NFT in Wi-Fi, we'll actually give a 40% extra yield over the 6,000 Metera tokens that each NFT gives.
Right. Okay. That's a cool mechanism. So that's actually quite smart. So you lock in the NFT on the Wi-Fi NFT vault. They'll know the wallet address that's doing it. And
I'll know the stake ID. Yeah.
Yeah, stake ID. And if it's the same one that's delegating to the main Metera stake pool, then you get that extra bonus.
Yeah, for the same period that the staking is done in Wi-Fi, which is 20 epochs. So we are trying to get that the people that hold NFTs and want to support the ISPO and want the extra yield to participate at least half of our ISPO duration, because we have a fixed time frame with the ISPO.
Very cool. All right. I've got to move some assets around before it starts in next epoch. So I'm pretty excited to see this all come into play and see the development of the platform too. So Daniel, thank you for joining me again and giving us an update. Is there any last words that you need to fit in before we end this session?
Thank you, Pete, for inviting me. I invite everyone. If you want to participate and get Metera rewards, you can stake in our ISPO pool or also with any of the 15 amazing SSPOs that are also participating in the ISPO. So I expect to see everyone there. If you have any questions, you can reach me on Discord, on Twitter. I'm always available to answer your questions.
And like always, all the links, references in the show notes for everyone. So if you're wanting to join the community or get into contact with Daniel here, you can find the links all there in the show notes. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. It's always a pleasure talking to you, and hopefully I'll see you at another event really soon.
Thank you, Pete.